think we're live.
So that's what we're.
Hi, everyone. We're going to wait just a few minutes or a few seconds, minutes, whatever, let people hop on here.
We didn't prepare any jokes, unfortunately.
There's one. Let us know you're here.
There's Tammy. And Vicky and Jerry and Emily. All right, we've got a few on with us now.
Hi, everyone.
Happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday, right?
Yes, it's Tuesday today. So, hi, everyone. We're getting more. Melissa,
Sherry,
Danielle.
Lacey.
All right, guys, we have a special guest with us today. Brendan's with us from EasyCare, and he's going to be talking about the new Easyboot Sneaker.
Make sure you put those questions in the comments or just say hello. Let us know that you're here and that you're watching. At the end of this segment, we will be giving away a pair of Easyboot sneakers, size of your choice. So be sure to get those questions in there. Brendan is the expert and he is here to answer all of your questions. And with that, Brendan, we'll turn it over to you.
All right. Well, thanks again, guys, for having me. I appreciate it. It's always a good time. I am Brendan Coulter with EasyCare. I'm the director of sales. I've been with them a few years now. So I'd like to kind of refresh people's memory about who EasyCare is real quick, if that's all right. So EasyCare was started in 1978. We were the inventor, I guess you'd say, of the hoof boot category. We were the first manufacturer of a commercially sold hoof boot. So we started that category. We continue to be the industry leader with regard to hoof boots, and now even with urethane shoes and other things like that. We offer more selection of styles, sizes, categories of hoof boots than anybody else out there. We hold over 18 patents. So we're always constantly innovating and trying to find new products and new things that we can improve upon. And the most important thing about it, I would say, about EasyCare is that our mission is to improve, the well-being of horses. That's the main goal, what we do. So everything we do, we think about it with the horse in mind, and what would help the horse, and in turn then would help the owner as well. So that's who EasyCare is. And so without anything else, I'd like to just go in and start talking about our newest boot that we have, which is the Easyboot Sneaker. So this is the Easyboot Sneaker. It's been in development for a while, probably over a year and a half or two. Sometimes it takes a while to tweak and to do things to get things right. And so we like to do a full testing and to make sure that the product is going to work for everybody who's going to use it. So what makes the product unique is that it is our most flexible sole that we have. It's a rubber urethane blended sole. So it has more flexibility than any other sole that we have. So it allows the hoof to act as natural as possible. The other thing that's interesting about this is that if we open this up, so if you look at the back of I'm trying to make sure I get in the camera here. If you open up the back or look at the sides here, you'll see the straps that come through here, and they look like they terminate just into the sides of the boot. But what there actually is the strapping actually continues on through the boot and down through here, is connected down here. And it's actually sandwiched between two layers of fabric and foam, so that the strap itself never comes in contact with the horse's skin. But it does a lot to help out with the fit and the function of this boot. So what I've done is cut out the back two sections of the inside. Let me go to the right spot here. Sorry, the inside fabric and the exterior fabric on here, so you can kind of see. And I know it's kind of difficult, but this is the webbing that runs all the way through and then down into the boot and terminates down here. So what happens is when you bring it around and actually attach the boot. I'm doing this quickly, but when you attach the boot, or fasten it here, it actually pulls once again from the sides here back down and through here. So what that does, the important part about that is that actually engages the heel of the hoof. So the main strap comes down through here. When it's tightened, what that'll do is it does several things. One, it really helps to prevent the hoof from being able to be pulled out of the boot because it engages the heel bulbs that are there. The other thing it does is it prevents a lot of twisting because it can only go so far before the heel bulbs will engage with that strap and prevent it from twisting. So that's another nice feature about it. And the other thing it does is when you put that pressure on the heel, it actually drives the hoof forward into the toe of the boot. And what that's going to do is give you a much better breakover when riding. So several, nice features on that. The other thing is that this boot is going to come, or does come, in 7 sizes, from double-aught up to 5. The other important thing is that we have designed 2, I don't know if I get that again, 2 different styles or patterns. So we have a narrow and a regular in all those sizes. And so the narrow could be used for hind foot, excuse me. But also you may have some front feet that it actually works with. So it actually gives you a little larger selection of sizes that you can use for the horse. Let's see what else I'm forgetting here. Let's look at here and see. So we have, like I said, we have 7 different sizes of each one of those. Application is easy. It's probably one of the easiest boots to apply. It doesn't require any strength or force to do that. So kind of show you, we have a great video that's on your website. When you look at if you get more information on this product, it's a great video. It gives you the same information I'm providing. Also shows application on a horse. But what I can tell you is when you go to put this boot on, you are going to want to, what I like to do is go ahead and, fix the Velcro in the back, pull the straps around the Velcro that attaches there. So then all you have to do is fold down the front of the boot here, and then it's one-hand application. You can just hold it, put it on, and then set the horse's hoof down. And once you've done that, then you want to make sure that you get the tongue of the boot set nicely inside there. And then you bring around your straps. You bring around the one, of course, with the double hook and loop on either side and go to the front, and then just pull from the other side. Gosh, I keep getting out of the ring, Skinner. So, and then last, you're going to want to head and bring your strap around and tighten across the front there, and then put it in your keeper. So very, very easy application on there. The other thing to note about the strap is that when it comes out of the box, it's going to be set up for a right hoof. And the reason it's going to be set up for the right hoof is because we like to keep as much of the bulk as we can on the outside of the horse. So it's not between where the legs are going to come in contact possibly. So it's set up for the right side. This strap is very easy to change out to go to the other side. So if you're going to apply it to a horse's left hoof, you're going to go ahead and take off the keeper. You're going to feed back the strap. I know you can't, I'm trying to, maybe I can do this here. Kind of feed back the strap back out of itself here. And when you do this, you want to keep in mind how you put the strap on, or took the strap off, so when you put it back on the other side, I know it's hard to see here, but get this out of here. So this is how it came off, if I can get that right. So then you basically just pull it through, and then you'll apply it to the other, there we go. And then bring it back around. And now it's on the other side of the boot so that you can use straps. So, so that's very easy, so just remember to do that when you purchase them, to change the strap based upon which hoof you're actually putting the boot on. Also, the other thing about this boot is that it's extremely affordable as far as our boots go. This one happens to fall into our pleasure category. And just to refresh people's memory about what constitutes a pleasure boot, it's typically up to 25 miles a week or no more than 25 miles in a ride would fall into that. This can be used on all surfaces to ride on. You can use it on gravel, you can use it on pavements, you can use it on grass. So it's good for all those uses. But the price point of this one here is going to be at $66 is where it's priced at. So it's just above our entry level price pointed boot, which is the Trail Original. So it's a nice spot there. It's extremely affordable that way. Let's see. I think that's basically the highlights of the boot itself. Are there any questions before we kind of move on and talk about some other features?
Yes.
Yeah, and you just kind of mentioned this, that it could be used on any surface. We did have a question, I believe, from Carolyn. Are they good for driving, and are they good in the snow?
As far as the driving, yes, they can be used for driving. And then as far as snow, yes. In fact, our corporate headquarters are in Durango, Colorado. And so a lot of testing was done in all different kinds of areas. So certainly you can on those. Mm-hmm. Sure.
And Kelsey she said, I have a 9-month-old filly with a P3 coffin fracture on stall rest. My vet and I talked about getting a boot for her to start hand walking with just for protection. What boot would you recommend? Mm-hmm. And can you resize them for the weanling, yearling horse? Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the other thing I should say about the sneaker, and then we can talk about some other ones, is that this boot here is good for riding. It's good for turnout. It can be used as a therapy boot, just like she was saying, something to give protection and walking or stall rest and things like that. Of course, EasyCare has another group of products called therapy products that we can use for horses on stall rest or who need extra protection, which would be our Cloud product that they could use. So once again, you can also use our other trail products in a way. We can add in different density of pads that can go into the soles of these. You can put pads in the sneaker if you want to make it a little more rigid and not quite as flexible. So there's some options there. As far as her question about resizing, if she was saying that can you resize them as they grow and things like that, no, it's really, you measure the hoof that you have at the time, and that's the boot you need to buy. There's not really a way to put inserts or things like that will take up. I mean, minimal. I mean, you could put some padding in there that might take up some slack a little bit, but really it's not designed to change the sizing that much. So you need to always measure on those.
Okay. Lavinia asks, are these boots designed for front and back? I didn't find a place to select front or back.
Yeah. So once again, we have a regular pattern and a narrow pattern. So the narrow pattern is going to typically be your hind type, hooves. But once again, you may have there could be another application for a different style. I mean, you might have, a horse that just happens to have a narrow front foot. So really, what you're going to do is you're going to go off the measurements, and we'll talk about that because there's a sizing chart. So you're going to want to measure your hooves, and then that sizing chart is going to indicate whether you need to buy the narrow or the regular style boot on those.
Okay. Susie asked, does the sole of the sneaker provide the same sole protection as the other styles?
It does. I mean, it definitely provides protection for sure. Now, once again, it is more flexible in there. So, if you were going to be on really, really, really rocky areas, there may be a little more give to that than a standard urethane sole that we have. But this was designed to give as much flexibility as possible. So once again, you could put a pad inside if you needed to give a little more rigidity and give it a little more protection. But I really wouldn't see a problem with you riding, certainly riding on gravel and things like that. It was certainly tested out on trails that were gravel, dirt, rock, things like that. So.
Okay. Debbie asked, what is the expected mileage?
Well, on those, mileage is always a tough one to determine. The reason is because it depends on how far, how hard, what type of terrain, those type of things there. But, once again, the best thing I can tell you is that in the pleasure category on those, we recommend up to 20, no more than 25 miles per ride or per week, depending upon how, if you're riding multiple times per week on that. So you want to do that. But it's so dependent upon if you're riding in the arena, if you're riding out on the gravel, if you're riding, where you're at is going to have a lot. Sometimes we have boots that last multiple years that people use because they're not using them as frequently, and maybe they only use them on certain types of terrain and things like that. And then we have people who ride in them every single day, and on different types of surfaces, and they may get a year out of those before they have to look at the soles on those. But we've had good wear on these so far in our testing. So
all right, Lori asked, how are these different from the old transitions?
Well, they look similar, I know, but the big difference on this is the actual sole. So when it's the rubber urethane composite sole that is the most important on those, and also in the strapping you have in the back. So on those.
Yeah, he kind of covered that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So any other ones?
Lori also asked, how do you keep from getting heel rubs?
Well, there's different things on these. We, depending upon the horse and the fit and things like that, the best thing is obviously to get the right fit on there. Sometimes, what we've had people do on certain types, if they have a horse that has maybe sensitive skin, that is prone to getting, rubs and things like that, they'll take maybe a pantyhose liner or that, cut it out and actually pull it on to the horse's leg before they put the boot on, which helps with that, the abrasion there and the rubbing. Sometimes using, a baby powder or talcum powder or something like that down in there to keep that, from causing rubs and things like that. Or you can use a combination of both of those. So that would be our recommendation on that.
Okay. Maya asks if they can be used along with regular shoes.
So that's a good question. On all of our boots, we don't warranty them when worn over shoes. Does that mean they technically couldn't be? No, if you found the right size, you could wear them over top of shoes. But, typically the time that we would, see that is when you were transporting a horse maybe in a trailer and you wanted to have extra support. You might put a boot over top of some shoes over a shod horse. But can they be put over? Technically, yes, they can be, but it will void the warranty because the shoes are very hard on the interiors of the boots. So just keep that in mind.
All right, Lori had a question. How safe are these for feathered horses? Does it rub on the feathers?
It's a hard one to say on that, because the testing that we've done a lot of typically doesn't have, we don't have a lot of feathered horses that we've done. So I don't have a good answer for that other than to say, we have a lot of other boots that are worn by feathered horses and have good luck. But once again, we use some of those techniques like putting the sock or the pantyhose on there to help prevent that from happening. So.
Okay. Brenda asked, is the sizing similar to steel shoes?
Okay, that's a good question. We were going to talk about sizing as well, so I'll go ahead and just kind of lead into that, and then if there's more questions, we can take that. So with boots, with any boot, the most important thing is the fit and for the sizing. So selecting the proper fit, proper boot for the fit is key to success. So if we can go over that real quick, I'll kind of show you if you guys can see in here. But basically, this talks about how you want to measure hoof. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to get a fresh trim. And once you've either given that fresh trim or you have had your farrier do that, then you're going to take your measurements. And so there's two key measurements that you need to do, and that's going to be a length and a width. So the way you're going to get the width is just the simplest is the widest portion of the hoof is where you're going to want to measure. So just measure across there. And as far as length goes, you're going to want to measure from toe back to the buttress line, which the buttress line is going to be the furthest weight-bearing point on the hoof. Do not include the heel bulbs because that will throw off your measurement as well. And so what you're going to do is you're going to get, like I said, get your length, get your width, and then you're going to refer, let me see if I can find here. So each boot that we have has their own, and I know it's hard to see this, but it's a sizing chart in here. So this is one for the narrow and one for the regular. And so what you're going to do is take your measurements, and it's very important. If you can take measurements in millimeters, that's going to get you the most accurate, sizing. Could you do inches? When you take inches and convert it to millimeters, it throws it off a little bit. So we would prefer millimeters. Some of our boots, you'll see sizing charts that have inches, and so you can use those. But for example, on the sneaker, in the different sizes, so you're going to check the width and you're going to check the length, and hopefully you're going to find a size that both of those fall within. Now, if it's still possible that if you have one that has a size, let's say a size 1 for the width and a size 2 for the length, you're going to want to go with the larger size, which is size 2. If you're finding that your measurements are falling way apart, one's a size 1, one's a size 3 or 4, then what we're going to recommend is that you look at other sizing charts to see if your horse's hoof measurements would fall into a different style. That might be a better option for you. So just keep that in mind while we try to make boots that fit the largest majority of horses and different, hoof shapes and all those different things. Not every boot is going to work for every horse. So that's why we offer the number of styles that we do, is because we hope that we can find something that's going to work for you. So, and the other thing about measuring to keep in mind is a lot of people tend to say, okay, I've been buying these boots over and over again, year after year, and I always buy a size 1. And so I'm going to keep buying a size 1, and they don't measure. Thing is, over time, whether you have, hooves change, you have a different farrier who's coming in and trimming, might trim a little differently. There's different things that can affect them. So anytime before you order boots, we want to make sure you measure and verify that you're still in that same size. The other thing we're going to ask you to do is, just because you measured the front left and you're going to buy a pair, don't assume that the front right is going to be the exact same size. There are times that a horse will wear maybe a slightly different size on the front left than they do on the front right, and vice versa. Same thing with, of course, if you're putting them on all 4, we'd ask that you measure all 4 and provide those measurements when you're selecting. And then the other thing is if you have a situation where somebody at your barn or a friend of yours has a pair of boots and they let you borrow them and you think, oh man, these are great, they fit perfect. What size are they? And you look at them and they're a size 1. We're going to recommend you still measure, because what happens is over time with boots, urethane products, rubber products, things like that, over time, you can stretch them. The hoof can stretch them, as it grows. You can still get them on, but over that time, it might stretch a little bit. So what may have happened is that horse that you borrowed them from could have stretched them out a little bit. And now when you go to get them and you get that size, you realize it's too big. So just some things to keep in mind when you take your measurements and things like that. So. Okay.
We did have a few people wondering if you have them available in pony and mini sizes.
Well, we go down to a double lot, and so we can look at those, but once again, they may not fit all ponies, and we do have a mini boot that we do, and we have some other products that have pony sizes. So they do go pretty small. This is a size 1, and so there's still 3 or 2 sizes below it, but it's still going to be pretty good size. It would probably work. Maybe you get down to the double lot for a larger pony, but probably not for a mini on those. So you just need to, keep in mind that we have a mini boot if you need one. So.
Vicki asked a question. I think you touched on this, but should the horse be barefoot to wear these?
Yes, that's what's designed to be ridden barefoot and things like that. But once again, if you had a therapy situation where I think I didn't see it exactly, but somebody was talking about their vet recommending that the horse be shod, but they want to give them some extra protection or something like that. Well, you could then put a boot over top of the shoes to give added protection. But once again, just keep in mind the warranty is voided at that point, but it very well could help. So.
Kathleen asks if they're easy to clean.
Yeah, like most of our boots, I should say all of our boots, really, they're easy to clean. You can rinse them off. You can use a Dawn dish soap. The key to any type of cleaning with the boots is to ensure that you get get them good and dry before you put them away. so that you don't have any sort of mildew or have any sort of deterioration of the fabric because it got wet and was, and put away that way. So, but yeah, you can simply rinse them off and use a Dawn dish soap or something like that to clean them up. So.
All right. Lori had a question. My horse is suffering from reoccurring hoof abscesses. Would this boot help his hoof stay clean in muddy conditions?
Would it, oh, sorry, say it again. So would it help it keep clean in muddy conditions? Is that what she was saying?
Yep.
I mean, certainly, it certainly would. And it could be used as a turnout there and add, it would provide that protection when they were turning them out. So it is designed to do that because any of our riding boots that are designed to be ridden in could be turned out in, but the key to those things, once again, is anytime you put a hoof boot on, you turn them out, you're going to want to check them. They're not meant for 24-hour wear. So you need to take them off, air them out, make sure there's no stone or something that may have worked its way in there, and just make sure there's no abrasive substances. Sometimes there's a lot of sand out places. So you want to make sure that you're cleaning them and checking them frequently on those. But, they can certainly go for, multiple hours, but we just wouldn't recommend 24 for sure. So.
Kathleen also asked if they are pretty lightweight.
Yeah, they are very, very lightweight in comparison to some. I mean, we certainly have some other boots that are a little heavier than this one for sure. And so because of the product that's designed or the material that's made out of, it is a relatively light boot.
Stephanie asked, how well do they stay on in rough country?
Well, once again, they're designed to stay on, and with that strapping system, we have a lot of confidence that they will stay on. Is it possible that one could ever be pulled off? Sure. I mean, there's always a condition where maybe a boot might get pulled off, whether it be really thick mud or, maybe, but in this case here, and the other thing is, like I said, this is still, once again, falls into our pleasure category. And so, yes, you can certainly wear it on rough terrain, but if you're constantly on rough terrain and you're really concerned about those things, we have some other boots that would probably be a little more in our performance line that would be a little bit more designed for that would have gaiters maybe that would actually help with that, or different strappings or things like that. So.
Okay. Is the Velcro strap replaceable?
Yes, it is. Yep, it is. We certainly have that. I think there was also a question there, maybe I saw, that says, does it come with extras? It doesn't come with extras, but certainly you can get the strap, the front strap can be replaced in that.
Jeff asked, how well do they do in water?
Well, I mean, certainly the water can come out of them because of the sides that we have. It's not a, on the sides here that we have, you're going to actually have, when it overlaps there, water could come out of those. We don't have drainage holes built into the soles through here. So the water's going to slosh in possibly, and a lot of it'll come back out, but you may still retain a little bit of water. And once again, if it's kind of one of those things where if that's a lot of your riding is through a lot of water, then we have some other boots that might work a little bit differently, because our trail original trail, or the new trail that we have, they have a little bit better drainage in them, designed in them. So, but these certainly you can wear these in water and do just fine.
Bridget asks if there are boots for ponies who are foundered.
Yeah, I mean, so once again, that would probably fall into our therapy line, which we do have the cloud boot that would be a suggestion for founder and things like that, because that actually has a thicker EVA foam that's in there that gives a lot of good support that way, and also a lot of protection. So I would probably recommend going with a cloud type boot, or that. We do have another boot called the RX that people sometimes use. And then, like I said, even the minis that we have 4 different sizes of those. They actually can fit some smaller ponies, and so that may be an option as well.
Holly asked if there's instructions for changing the strap. She said it looks challenging to remember.
Oh, it's really very simple, and there is. So I mean, so in the box itself, no, there's not. But we've done a lot on as far as video goes. So if you go onto the Valley Vets website and you select the product, and then down below it shows where there's videos at. There's actually an application video on there that shows it how it comes on, or how you put it on the hoof and how you take it off. And in that video, it also shows how you change that strap. And it's literally just feeding it back through one and taking it out, and then just feeding it back through and doing it. It's just doing the exact reverse. It's very simple. So.
Okay. Are these boots good for trailering?
Yes, certainly. You could use these boots for trailing. Yep.
Gail asked, can you use these over a bandaged hoof?
Well, so once again, yes, you could. If you're just looking to provide a little bit of protection and to keep them clean, you could. But once again, you have to remember you have to have the right size to do that. So, you know, it's, you know, and the other thing that's going to happen is, depending upon how the bandage is applied to the hoof, whether it's rather bulky or it's, you know, slim, it would work. And, you know, the straps in the front, or the Velcro in the front, or they should say the hook and loop in the front, would work to hold those on. But the strapping system in the back that's supposed to engage the heels there may not be able to engage exactly. But if it's, once again, if it's a bandaged hoof and you're in a stall and you're not going anywhere, then certainly it could be used as that type of you know, application. The other thing I would say is, if you do have a situation where you're just trying to keep a hoof clean without turnout and install rest and things like that, we do have a Easyboot Zip, which is a fairly inexpensive product that just goes over top. It can be used for poultice, things like that, or it could just be, you know, used by itself just to keep dirt and debris from getting in a hoof for a time, you know. So might be something else to look at over that.
I lost it.
Where do you want to go?
I lost the mouse.
Right.
I was going to pop that one up on the screen.
This
So
one?
maybe it would. There we go. Chris asks, will they hold up on dry lot 24/7 navicular horse, not super active?
So once again, yes. I mean, if, you know, if you're going to put them on the horse, obviously we don't recommend 24 hours for the boot to be on. So, and if in the worst case scenario, where if you said it just has to be on 24/7 for a time, then it has to be checked and taken off and cleaned and aired out for just a time to make sure that there's nothing else going on there. But, you know, as far as a fairly inactive horse in a dry lot, they're going to hold up very well. You know, shouldn't have any issues there. But just be concerned on how long you leave them on, and ensure that you check, you know, that there's no debris or anything that got in there.
Would these work for a horse that likes to pull shoes?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're going to pull the shoes and put boots on, for sure, it would work just fine for those. You know, if you're looking for a spare on the trail, so that, you know, if they did pull a shoe, you could certainly use this one as well as a spare to get you down wherever you're going. But yeah. And I do see one question, or I can go ahead and answer while you guys are looking at those. Is somebody was asking about draft size. Currently, we don't have a draft size that would be available for these, but we do have other boots that we do in much larger sizes that you could do on some drafts and draft crosses and things like that.
Just to clarify, these boots are designed so they'll work for front or back, correct?
Yes, correct. I mean, so it's, once again, it all comes down for sizing. You can't, you know, if it ends up being a narrow size that your hoof falls into, you don't need to, you know, you don't have to worry about using it. You know, it's only designed for a hind foot. So yeah, you can certainly use them on any hoof.
Iris asked, do you need boots on all 4 feet?
No, you don't have to. A lot of people just use, you know, boots on the front. The majority, probably, you know, 60%, you know, to a little more than that of the weight is going to be on the front of the horse. So a lot of people want to definitely boot the front. But then again, people also want to give added traction in the back, when they're going up, maybe some steep inclines and different things like that, or some rocky or slippery, more, terrain, and they want to give a little bit more grip. They'll use them for the hinds, but you don't have to use all four. Some people do, and some people mix and match. So sometimes you'll have somebody who likes a certain style of boot on the front and who will put a different style of boot in the back. We have a lot of people who will do that.
Stephanie said, my guy has 1 foot with a lot of flare. Is this going to affect sizing?
Well, of course, the flare is going to affect sizing. You're going to have to take that into consideration on there. So you just have to make sure that when you get them trimmed and you get them to the point where that's how their hoof is going to be, then you have to do your sizing. So it shouldn't affect finding one that fits. It just means you have to take into consideration that flare. So.
Amanda had asked, how do these compare to the clouds? Can they be used for hauling, traveling, or standing on hard surfaces?
Okay. So thing to realize about these is they're really not, there's not a good comparison with the cloud because of the fact that they have a different sole on them. They have a different type of engagement here, and also the padding from the cloud is obviously our thicker EVA pad, which these do not come with. But if you're looking for just providing some added, say you're at a horse show and and they're being installed on hard surfaces, yes, this rubber sole would certainly add for more protection and help with fatigue over nothing. But once again, it doesn't have a thick EVA pad inside like the cloud does, which is what helps a lot with that recovery and that, and those type of things there and hauling. So could you haul on these like we talked about earlier? Sure, you can haul it. I mean, could you add pads to them? Sure. But what you can't do, or not what you can't do, but the clouds are going to be probably a better option for that. But you can certainly use them.
Sandy asked if you could repeat the measurement areas again. So basically how you measure for them. And I believe I believe there's on our website too.
There is a chart on your website on how to do it and talks about it. But basically you're going to have the two measurements. It's hard to do this, but you're going to have the width across here. And so the width is simply going to be at, the widest point of the hoof. And then whenever you're taking the length measurement, you're going to want to start at the toe and work your way back to the buttress line. And once again, that buttress line is simply the furthest weight-bearing point of the hoof. Do not include the heel bulbs. And that's how you'll get your best measurement there on those. Okay.
Hila was asking how they stayed on in mud. Do they stay on well in mud?
Yeah, I mean, they certainly can go through mud and things like that. And once again, it all comes down. I mean, the strapping that we've put in the back of here and that we've incorporated does a lot to really help a hoof from being pulled out and being able to twist and things like that. I will not stand here and tell you that, or sit here, I guess, and tell you that it will 100% guaranteed not come off in mud. There's always a situation where something could happen where it went down, and got all the way down into in a bog or a mud, and then when it came out, it was just so tight, like a boot, like a human boot could get pulled off. So once again, if you take into consideration where you typically ride, what the terrain is a lot like, that should help you also select the proper boot. So if you're really riding in a lot of wet, a lot of mud, all those type of things, really rough terrain and all things, then probably this one here from our pleasure category is not your go-to boot. It's probably going to be one of our performance boots that might give you a little bit better performance, of course, because we have some applications and some different accessories that you can add to those that can help with that problem.
Okay. Sandy, these are sold as one boot, so you'll get one boot in the box.
And there's $66 per boot, I believe.
66 per boot, yep.
Okay.
And while we're talking about how the boots come and pricing and things like that, I want to also remind people that at EasyCare, we believe we have the best, warranty in the industry. And what our warranty is it's 45 days, no questions asked. So you take these, you measure them, you get everything else, you get the boots in, and that's from date of purchase. So if you measure improperly and get the wrong size, we're going to take it back. And we're going to get you the right size. If you get the right size and ride in them, and for some reason you just don't know it's not the right boot for you, we're going to take them back. So you don't have to worry. It's not like going to the shoe store where you've worn your shoes out on the gravel and they won't take them back after that. I mean, we want you to use them, we want you to test them, we want you to be satisfied. So take them, ride in them, see what you think. If you're unsatisfied or they're just not the right boot and you want to try a different boot, ship those back to Valley Vet, and they'll get you a refund, and then we can get another pair of boots on order for you. So never fear that if you have the wrong size or you mix up or mess up, that you're stuck with them. As long as you get them back in within that 45 days, we'll get you taken care of.
And Lori, we have these in stock at Valley Vet right now, so you can place your order.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, there are a few questions, stuff we've already gone over. If you missed the first part of the segment, we will have this on our Facebook page, so feel free to go back and watch this. Lots of great information. See if there's any new ones here.
What was the biggest size that they come in again?
It's going to be a size 5, and that's, once again, I should talk about the sizing there where we talked about this. There's no real correlation beside, when you say a size 5 for one of our style boots to the next, there could be some variation in those. And the same thing goes for other brands of boots. So just because you wear a size 2 in another brand doesn't mean you're going to wear a size 2 in EasyCare. So size 5 is the largest that we go to. And just to kind of give you an idea here, if you're going with just the standard regular size, the width on that one's going to be 150 to 160 millimeters is that measurement. And the length is going to be 155 to 165 millimeters. So if that gives you an idea of sizing on those.
On the warranty, we had a question. Tila asked, what if they are dirty? Is there a cleaning or restocking fee?
No, I don't believe there's a restocking fee. I mean, I don't think Valley Vet charges anything like that, but there is the dirty or anything like that. There's no cleaning fee. There's nothing like that. You just simply send them back in, and you're going to call in and you're going to ask for a return, and Valley Vet will get you set up on how they do their return process. And then it goes back to them. And then from that point there, they'll get you credit, and then you can order another pair of boots or exchange them or do what you need to do. So.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's all the questions that have came through so far.
And if you have,
well,
please keep asking, because Brendan will help us out. We'll twist his arm.
I will. And if we're waiting for more questions, if you guys don't mind, I just want to kind of tell people real quickly and just remind them about something else. So late last fall, EasyCare, of course, has always done hoof boots, but we also recognize that there's situations where a horse may need to be shod. They may need to have a shoe. But just because they have to have a shoe doesn't mean they can't have something that's going to provide them with extra comfort, protection, and things like that. So we have a full line of urethane shoes. We also have, which are some are nail on, some are glue on. We also have some different styles of easy shoes that we've designed that are look a little less traditional, but that work very well, that can be glued on. So I just want to point out and show real quick on our newest style, which is the Easy Shoe Versa. We came out with 4 styles, and each one of those styles that we have comes in a front pattern and a hind pattern on there, 18 sizes of each. And so, for example, we do a metal core one here, which is just called the Versa Grip, but it has a full metal core in here that goes through, and we have angled clips and things like that. The other thing we do is we do one that actually is the exact same shoe, only it comes with, pre-made spots for studs if you need additional grip and things like that you can screw in there. Then we also do our Versa Gold, which is the difference there is that the metal doesn't go all the way through. It's a very flexible shoe. And then last, we also have a non-metal version That's called the Versalite that we do. And once again, like I said, all size or all styles come in a front and a hind pattern, 18 sizes of each of those. And they come sold in pairs on those. So just want to make sure people are aware of those, and maybe they might need that for one of their horses that doesn't take boots. So
Great.
Thank you for all the information, Brendan. Great.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. As usual, I've always enjoyed getting on here and visiting with you guys.
Again, if you guys have any more questions, make sure you go ahead and put them down. We will get with Brendan and get them answered for you. So we're going to go ahead and draw our winner for the pair of boots. So the winner is going to be Brenda Curry.
All right.
So congratulations, Brenda.
All right, we have a couple.
Yes, congratulations.
We have a couple more announcements before we hop off here. So just 1 minute. We have Thursday. This Thursday, we are going to be live with Stride Animal Health. They're going to talk about supplements and how to balance your horse's nutrition. So be sure to tune in again on Thursday at 3 o'clock Central Time with Stride Animal Health.
And we have our Lucky 7 sweepstakes going on now. So there is going to be 7 winners in this. So make sure you get signed up. The deadline is February 26th. Don't wait that long. Get signed up now so you don't forget.
Thanks again, Brendan, for coming on here.
No problem.
And answering all of our
Thanks,
questions.
guys.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye. I hope everybody has a good day. All right.